All right. Happy Halloween, Clitorati.
Ooh,
This is a seriously witchy episode.
very seriously witchy.
If you're on our YouTube right now, I just said YouTube.
YouTube.
The YouTube, you will see our good witch, bad witch scenario we have going on for you. I wonder, can you
Mhm.
guess who's the good witch and who's the bad witch if you're just listening to the pod right now?
Is it Katie?
Or Sugar?
Hmm. It's only the two of us in the studio today because Lindsay is off getting married.
I'm
So
literally flying out tomorrow to get to the wedding tomorrow night.
oh my gosh, it's gonna be so amazing.
Flying with my wings, though. I'm gonna go there,
I
you know,
love it.
my wings and my broomstick.
That's right.
Oh, I
That's
just
right.
realized that I left my broom in the other room for the episode, but it's okay. I won't need to go anywhere on it.
You left your broom in the other room.
I left my broom in the other room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. All right.
I'll
So
have
what
to
are we doing
share.
here today? We just wanted to hop on and talk to you, clitorati and pleasure seekers all over the world.
Yeah, and really dive into a conversation about how you're already a witch. Did you
Oh,
do that? Did you know that you're already a witch? And also, maybe you're not practicing your witchcraft as
I mean,
intentionally.
anybody can be a little bit witchy, right? Some people more than others.
Absolutely. And there's ways to level up your witchiness, which we'll get into today.
Hmm.
I learned today for sure Katie's more of a witch than I am because she has a vulva puppet.
Oh, I do.
That's
Oh my
probably
gosh.
the
We're
witchiest thing
bringing
you
that
could
in.
ever have is
I got it. Actually, my husband got this for me for my birthday last year. And it has all the anatomical parts. It's actually for my sex education, so that I can teach. But isn't it beautiful?
yes.
We'll be going over all of the anatomy on our Patreon.
By the way, go if you're not a member of our Patreon and you want to be, because we do way more content over on our Patreon. For example,
Hmm.
the Velvet Puppet's going to be on the Patreon, not on the pod. So if you want to be a part of our members community, you can check out our show notes. There's a link to our Patreon and you can easily sign up there. We would love to see you over.
Hmm.
It's actually called Clit Talk Confidential because just as a reminder, and let's cast a spell right now as we enter into this episode.
I kind of don't want to change the name of our Patreon.
We're not. It's Clit Talk because that used to be our
Confidential. Yeah.
name. And for anyone who's a new listener, because I've spoken to some of you on the
Mm.
phone with our sexual satisfactions that I am offering right now for
Oh my gosh.
motherfucking free, clitorati. So I don't know why more of you aren't emailing, but if you are looking to level up your pleasure
Mm-hmm.
and become a magnet for your desires, that's a very witchy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Please go ahead and email us at pleasurepositiveliving@gmail.com, the word witch.
Ooh, in the subject,
No,
they're going to
no,
email us.
subject line, you can just say interested in sexual satisfaction session, but email us the word witch. If you're not a fan
Which,
of email, you can go on our Instagram, which is Pleasure Positive Living on Instagram, and you can just DM us the word witch. So that's if you are looking to really level up your pleasure and tap into more of your witchiness, start being able to cast spells and like magnetize your desires toward you.
you have been spending an hour with each person who has signed up for
Yep.
these free sexual satisfaction sessions.
It's so
I
cool.
feel
Can
like I should sign
I
up for
share about
one.
that for a second? I have
I mean,
fucking been loving this.
yes, I want to hear all about it because you're the only one doing them.
I
It's
am the only one doing
amazing.
them. I feel proud that I'm the one doing them. I'm like,
I know.
I'm doing this.
I love it.
What's been so rad is to be able to talk to you listeners who have been like listening to the show for some of you years, some of you months, and getting to put a face to the name. This
Yeah.
this one man said to me, he was like, wow, you're way prettier than you sound on the podcast.
You're way prettier than you sound on the podcast.
I was like,
Is that a compliment or
it
like
wasn't. It was a little bit, I think, but
is it?
I was like, okay. I'm not making that mean anything, but it's been I was like,
What do you think that is?
I don't know.
That's funny.
I think he really was trying to be like set giving me a compliment, but it did make me wonder if my voice doesn't sound like someone. I don't know. What does my voice not sound like? I would. It's just interesting.
I think your voice is super sexy and raspy, and definitely you can tell when you're talking, which is good for a podcast because we have 3 hosts. So,
Yeah. So it's been amazing to connect with those of you who have had these sessions with. I hope to talk to more of you. And so this is available to you just by being a listener of our podcast, being a part of our community. You are a valued member of our community. And if you would like it, it's yours, witch. Okay. So DM or email the word witch to at Pleasure Positive Living on Instagram and pleasurepositiveliving@gmail.com on our, if you're going to email us. And so launching into this episode, I'd love to set an intention. And I've got
she's got her Palo Santo.
Palo Santo. In the other room, I have Copal, which is a really wonderful incense for clearing energy. But today I'm going to work with the Palo Santo because I want to call in our archangels and our ascended masters, and those beings that are on our team. And I want to cast a spell for our organization and community at large that may our pleasure create a ripple effect in the world, such that the word clit is no longer profane and is no longer a censored word. And we get to use our real name again, which is Clit Talk.
Which is Clit Talk. I mean, we still are Clit Talk LLC.
I would also, yeah, sweetheart. And also, there's so much war happening in the world right now. And it's such a metaphor for how we are at war within our communication and our relationships and within ourselves and the way we talk to ourselves. And what we can do is we can pray, and we can do that inner work to have the courage to become extraordinary communicators, compassionate listeners. And I want to light this to be a prayer for peace for the planet right now that seems to be in turmoil. May there be more compassion, understanding, acceptance. Maybe we become better listeners. Wow.
And so it is.
So it is.
Ooh.
Wow. The flame blew itself out in such
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw
Our
it.
listeners are like, what happened?
Yeah.
The Palo Santo was lit and then it like went out all of a sudden. It was really beautiful. I hope you felt it.
Oh, yeah.
Feel that when you're
Calling in like
listening.
all of our archangels and ascended masters and all those beings on our team that are here to uplift us.
Reign over me. I love it. I love when we get witchy. It's one of my favorite things.
And to that point, it's spooky season, right? Like here we are, it's spooky season, and there's all of that. The witch archetype is so huge right now in this season, but really in pleasure positive living, like the witch archetype is kind of with us all the time. We don't necessarily use that language, but when we are engaging with pleasure, it is
tapping into desire that is in the realm of creation and witchiness.
Exactly. And so our senses are access to our pleasure. And when we connect with our senses in so many various ways, I have a candle here, right? We just lit Palo Santo. Whether you work with essential oils, I have pheromone oil that I use. Oil is like
what's that?
Yeah, pheromone oil it's basically will smell different on every person. This is the one that like is it accentuates your own pheromones basically, and it smells different on everyone because everyone's body chemistry is different. It's great. It's called Pure Instinct. I mean, more on this on our Patreon. We'll do
we go over our favorite things on our Patreon too.
But different oils. I use potions. Rose water. Whoa, very witchy.
Whoa.
Different body oils. different sprays and aromas. Like all of this crystals. Oh my gosh, we were having a whole
Oh
conversation.
yeah, crystals. I'm like, I have tons of crystals. That is one thing that I have really been into at one point in my life. I haven't actually charged them under the moon in a hot minute.
So that's like advanced witch.
Definitely over a year.
Katie's more of an advanced witch. So for those of you who don't know, if you work with
Mm.
crystals, or if you'd like to start working with crystals, crystals do like lose their energy at times. And so a way to charge them back up is to put them under the moon, under a full moon.
Mm.
And
Yep.
so,
Let them soak up the moon's rays and recharge.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other ways of being witchy, regarding pleasure in our senses is you talked about it earlier, is desire, casting spells, right? With our words, like we have pleasure programs. You've heard us talk about that before.
Mm-hmm.
We work with people in creating a desires roadmap, which is basically a spell casting,
spell casting.
Yeah, like vehicle.
It kind of is. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, because we do cast spells with our words, like the word spelling, right? Spelling, the word spell is in spelling.
True.
I'm holding my magic wand because it just felt right.
The wand has come out.
And so, the ways in which you're already a witch, right? Do you light those candles around your house, right? Do you, are you into scents? Do you write your intentions down very intentionally in a journal, right? These are all forms of like modern witchcraft. And it's fun to connect with. If you've never like thought of yourself as witchy, look at the ways in which you already are witchy as fuck, right? And, if you like to go out in nature and be alone and sit like and look at the stars, like you a witch, bitch,
connect with that earth.
And for the women that listen to the show, because it's not all women, guess what, 30% of our listeners are male. And I'm going to say those sexual satisfaction sessions I'm offering, I would say it's been like 70-30 male attending those calls. I'm like,
really?
What's going on? Okay,
it must be the title.
maybe. But this little jar I'm holding right here, more about that on Patreon, is a period blood that has an infused spell that I cast in it on a full moon a few months ago. I did a ritual.
Really?
Did a witch ritual. Yeah, it was like a blood mystery. Wow. And we worked with our period blood, and we had to collect it beforehand and bring it. And it was the witchiest I've ever done in my life.
I've never done that.
Put it I hosted it at my house actually. Cause when I try something new, I just like to dive right into the deep end. I'm like, let me
You do. You're like, I'll host it.
Host it. Oh, I put my blood in my pomegranate tree in my backyard, and actually like all the women did.
Put it all in your pomegranate tree?
Yeah.
Does cast their spell?
To seed our intentions into the earth in alignment with earth energy.
All at once, all together.
And then we took home our little jar of our mixture of our concoction of our blood that had our infused prayer or spell in it. And this sits on my desk every day. So when I work and I'm in my office creating, I see it and I can immediately connect to the wisdom of the lineage, the power of woman, the magicalness of being woman. By looking at my period blood. And I used to have a really shitty relationship with my period. I would dread it. I used to have a terrible relationship with my period, but I've gone on a period healing journey. So working with your menstrual blood is definitely I would say advanced witch.
We had a guest come on who literally ran their business around their cycle and ran their whole life around their cycle. She wrote a book about it.
Yeah, I've been taking on her teachings.
Really?
As best
That's amazing.
As best
You've been noticing results?
It'll be interesting, like when I have my period and there's like and I have sexual satisfaction calls, because that's so happened yet because they're so new. I haven't been on my period during these calls yet.
Oh my
So,
God.
but I kind of was not having meetings or like, trying to be minimal and make space to be creative on my period. Cause actually a woman's period is the most magical time for her to manifest, because it's an opportunity for us to go inward and get into alignment and create space and slow down and be creative and be alone in that creative portal, so that we come back stronger and with wisdom. It's also a time where we receive messages from our higher self and other higher beings, because we're tapped into like cosmically during our periods. And so if we're around people all the time when we're menstruating, it just doesn't allow us to connect. It's actually really it's a spiritual portal. But when we have too much noise around us, or make responsibilities like the family, the kids, the work, and it's incessant, that's where my doll is really helpful, right? How many women have to just take medication to push through just to be able to show up to those commitments? And so it is very witchy to be like, I'm not going to force my body with medication, and I'm going to go on this spiral staircase that is the period, like to go into the abyss of the womb cave, right?
I
But
love that
I've
for
done that
you.
a couple of times I've just been doing it for the last maybe 4 or 5 months. It's been really interesting, but I also have no pain with my period anymore. So I have energy to like want to do things, right? And such a part of my purpose, these sexual satisfaction calls we've been casting spells on these calls. I mean, basically we're like looking at like, okay, what do you want to create? And then we're like desire mapping it. It's very cool. It's very,
Everything you're talking about sounds so amazing. And I just can't stop thinking about the people who like don't have a pleasure practice, who like don't have one essential oil. I just keep thinking about myself when I first started this journey, and having like being inundated with so much information that it almost seemed overwhelming. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, if there's any parents listening right now, I just really want to like bring in the conversation of meeting yourself where you are, because I remember everything you're saying is making me like, I miss having that space to create that mental space, right? And I mean, I have a under 1 and 4-year-old. So I'm in a very specific situation, which probably not a lot of our listeners, I don't know, are
I
parents,
talked
but
to a
it's
couple moms on our sexual
did
satisfaction.
you?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
good, because I think it's really important, because parents, not just moms, still need a pleasure practice, and everything is adjusted when you become a parent. Everything adjusts. Pleasure often gets pushed to the wayside completely. Like I'm definitely have been one of those moms who didn't shower. I didn't remember was the last time I showered, you know, and so simple things like putting in, like making sure the needs are taken care of. And I'm like, oh yeah, I would love to go to a blood period ceremony with a bunch of women. That sounds amazing, because I used to do all those things. So I just want to give people something that like I want to bring the conversation like and
No,
create
really.
some neutral ground in the conversation, just to make sure, and also put in what I've been doing that has been quick. You mentioned before about everything that's going on in the world and really feeling helpless. I feel like people can feel that way a lot of times within themselves, within the desire to have pleasure in their life.
Yeah.
And something that's really been helping me is the app Headspace. Specifically, we're not sponsored, but if you want a free 30-day trial, email us and I can send you mine, because it's changed my life. There's been if you are a parent or have a family or are interested in it, they have a brand new feature where they're like 5 to 7 minutes long of mindset for parents, and they have things for kids too, and they just came out with, you can make like a family um mission statement, and there's just lots of things that I found really valuable that are really quick. So I just wanted to put that in, because
Uh,
I want to go do all the things, and I want all the oils, and send me the list because I can Amazon like super quick.
yes. Well, and like something that's so easy to do is like carry a essential oil carrier on you, like in your pocket or of your sweatshirt or like whatever jacket you're wearing in your house. Like if you can have like it in on your bra, like put a little essential oil carrier, and like whatever scent is like what you're calling in. Like different scents have different frequencies. I know blue lotus is a great one for like abundance and alignment. There's some really high vibrational components to, like, blue lotus is like one of the highest vibrational flowers or botanicals on the on planet Earth. So it's super
Mm,
with energy, the blue lotus flower. So it's really great in an oil blend because I have it not in a carrier oil, I have it in a dropper oil, but if you can find it in a carrier oil, it's really easy to carry around, but you could get any oil that resonates with you. I was just sharing one that's like super witchy, blue lotus, but
mm-hmm.
if you want to work with lavender, if you want to work with, eucalyptus, like choose your medicine. This is a blend for anti-anxiety because I'm prone to get a little anxious.
Mm,
But just having that on you, like you would have just like chapstick, having that nearby. And then just like throughout the day, just in a moment, especially like when you have your hands are free, like you're not holding your baby, you're not nursing your child, you're not
mm-hmm.
kid, when your hands are free, because there's probably a few moments in a day where your hands are available, right? Super
Kind of.
easy to just put it in on your wrist, in your palm of your hand, take that oil and just 3 inhalations.
Mm,
And like that is like 10 seconds, right? It's like and pleasure, just for our listeners, like how is that enough, right? Or whatever. It's like, well, that pleasure is simple. Pleasure is available through our senses. Which sense
mm-hmm.
you want to engage? Your sense of scent,
Mm,
smell, taste, touch, feeling, emotion, right? But that's how pleasure comes through, is through one of these channels. So it can be simple. It can be as simple as 5 seconds. I whip my carrier oil out, and all I had to do was find an oil I like, order it, and actually remember to keep it on me at all times.
right.
And
Like be in tune to
that's
the
what I would
feeling
say
of when
to
you need it.
our busy moms around the world right now that are just like, I can't go to a moon circle. Good for you, sugar. What can I do to be responsible for my pleasure? And something as simple as this is a great
I
starting
love
point.
that. And do you know what I want to talk about next? I want to talk about sex magic, because if you're a parent or even if you're single, if you're having sex with someone or having sex with yourself, sex magic,
Mm.
creating that intention and sexual energy is the most potent energy for creation. I feel like that's something that can be I done in the moment, but I don't want to just be like, it's easy, because I feel like in these sexual satisfaction sessions, you're helping people get to where their desire is. And for me, as a really busy mom, getting my needs met, not getting my needs met, it makes it hard to get to desire. I mean, that we teach that your needs need to be met in order to reach desire, and pleasure is a need. So if that's bucket isn't being filled, it's hard to get there. So I feel like if you have a coach like you or myself or Lindsay to get to the specific desire, and then you do the sex magic, and then it's an effortless thing, you know? And so I think I'm going to schedule one of those 1 hour sessions with you, because I want to know what intention to set when I have sex or when
I
I
think that would be
masturbate.
so cool. And then I
Does
wouldn't,
that sound fun?
yeah, I've been wanting to, and that would really work because then you would know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's true.
Like you'll know what I'm
That's true.
like, like the whole process. And it's so, let's do it. Let's do it when I get back from the wedding.
Let's
Uh,
do it.
I love
I
that you
love
brought up sex
this.
magic. Like if you do sex magic already, because you've been listening to the show for a while, we've
Mhm.
episodes like that makes you a witch, bitch. But also,
Now
hey,
what?
you're a listener and you're kind of like, where am I in this witch conversation? If you would like to start tapping into more of that witchy energy, sex magic's a great place to start. We've got an episode on sex magic. You could seriously just Google, I don't know what episode number it is, so forgive me, but you could probably just Google Clit Talk, sex
Sex
magic, and like
magic.
all of our episodes will pop up. So luckily we're easy to find, unlike the
That's
clitoris,
true.
apparently, for most people.
Really?
I feel
Yeah.
like,
I feel like that's the ongoing joke for everyone.
Yeah.
I guess it is hard to find. It was hard for me to find myself. No one ever showed me where it
You
was.
didn't know, and you didn't know like it needed to be engorged and
Didn't know any of that.
yeah.
Didn't know any of it. So sex education. Oh yeah.
So the sex magic, I'm so happy you brought that up, is a regular practice in my life. When I masturbate, just think of it, especially when I masturbate with self-pleasure. I would say, with partners, I haven't done sex magic with a partner in a minute. I don't really
I
have
know. I haven't thought about it in a long time. That's why when you were talking, I was like, sex magic is so witchy.
so witchy. It's so witchy. I mean, we weren't even going to talk about that in the episode. I got so
No,
excited.
it wasn't even on our list.
Oh my God, exactly. Like these, like it's wild too, because witches were friggin' burned at the stake, right? Back in the day.
Yeah.
And because let's talk about that.
Okay.
They were powerful. They were making things happen. They were creating things that were appearing, and they were like kind of accused of being too powerful. Like can't be that powerful. They
They were
were
also women who were speaking up and when women weren't allowed to. So I think that also had a
and
lot to do with it.
yeah, right. So, and it made me think of like how now in today's day and age, like that is happening still. Like there's like a new
Mm.
witch hunt happening online on social media of like finding the witches and like shadow banning them, right?
On Instagram and
Yeah,
not letting them run ads and making them change their name and everything.
yes,
God.
exactly. I mean, not to make it personal about us or
Not to make
anything.
it personal about us or anything, but you are our clitorati, so it's like we're talking to you. Anyways,
Yeah,
we love it.
yeah. Um, mm, mm, so
So
good.
so good. So I think that's really good. I want everyone to have a really good Halloween. I almost re-aired our Halloween episode about the sex party. If we have a lot of new listeners right now. If you have a lot of new people coming in. If you haven't heard our sex party episode and you want a good laugh and hear some hilarious stories,
Yeah.
I would definitely check that out. It's one of our highest played episodes. And it's perfect for Halloween because in the beginning of our show, we were 9 women and we all went with our partners, or if we didn't have a partner, we went on our own to a sex party on Halloween. And for most of us, including myself, it was my first time. And I haven't really been back to one since, but it's not that I'm like opposed to it, but you should hear what happened
Yeah.
in
So
that episode if you
so
haven't
good.
already. You'll
So
get to know us really well.
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people hadn't heard it, because the feedback I've been getting on these sexual satisfaction calls is that listeners be listening, but not necessarily consistently. So they miss some episodes.
Totally.
I've asked if they've listened to certain episodes, like, oh no, I haven't listened to that one. So fuck yes to that. Also, you just talking right now, I'm like, you look so hot in this witch outfit. Is this what
Oh,
you're wearing on
thanks.
Halloween?
No, this was just for you.
I'm in love with this look that you've
Thank
developed, and I'm
you.
wondering if you could trick or treat in it when we go trick or treating together on Halloween.
I'm really excited to trick or treat with you. And the four of us in our family have been requested to be Ninja Turtles. So
Oh, so you're going to be a Ninja Turtle. Got it.
we are all going to be Ninja Turtles.
Okay. Thank you
And
for
I have a Ninja Turtle dress, and so
take
does my
photos
daughter.
in this at least, because you look so cute. You're
I
like,
know.
will you please take some photos, like some selfies?
Yes.
Like this is,
Halloween, I feel, has been all month long. We love Halloween here. My daughter was born October 30th. Like I have a Halloween baby. It's so amazing. We've always loved it. So we dress up all week, pretty much. So yes, I will wear this again
I
for
love
you.
that.
I know.
You're
So
such
fun.
like, yeah, this is how I see you, Katie, just so you know,
Like at all times.
like at all times, this is actually how I see you.
Uh-huh. Okay. Good. Lucky me. I love you so much.
I love you so much. This was great.
This
And
was fun.
I guess with that, Clitorati, are we closing out the episode, Katie? Is that
Yeah,
what's
be safe out there, Clitorati.
happy
Ha- be in
Halloween?
touch with your pleasure. Happy Halloween. We love you. And I'll say it together. We will see you
Next.
next Tuesday.